Good morning. I am fascinated by the subject of courage. So, courage does all sorts of strange things for people. Some run for the hills, some love it, as long as it doesn't apply to them. Winston Churchill described courage as the most important of all the virtues, for upon it, everything else depends. We talk a lot about courage. We'll hear it, a lot of speakers have spoken today about courage, and it's a really worthy thing. But what is it? Well, if you look at where it comes from originally, cor is the heart in Latin, and age is movement. So it's movement or action from the heart. And what I do with people is I work really in tapping into people's natural self-expression, authenticity, and passion. That's sap, right? So don't be a sap, apply some sap. Because actually, we are natural storytellers. We are natural speakers. All of us in this room, you should see the speakers at the back there. We're all completely cuck ourselves, and we walk out here like, wow, we're here, right? We all do it. There are only two types of speakers, as Mark Twain said. Those who get nervous and those that lie. So that just comes with the territory. We are, as human beings, we live most of our lives in fear, frankly. And courage is the big opportunity to step out of that. So I work with people in leadership, sales, customer service, futures, technology, because it all applies to courage. Courage is moving yourself outside of your comfort zone and doing anything that scares you or is really important to you, and most of that is the case. So I'm going to ask you today, in case I forget, to take one act of courage today. Go and meet someone who you wouldn't normally meet. You know, move away from the old familiar. You don't really need that cup of coffee because that potential client of yours is leaving the building now. So all those in favor of aye, say aye. Oh, come on. All those in favor of aye, say aye. One more time. All those in favor of aye, say aye. Fabulous. Okay, and the first person to come and connect with me and book me, the first person to connect with me will get a copy of my book, okay? So that'll just be a measure. If no one comes to talk to me, it's probably just a cuck talk, right? So anyway, if you'd like to do that, please come and do that, and I'll give you a copy of my book. I've got 3 short stories to share with you about courage that illustrate the courage of connection. So in 1858, a great uncle of mine won a Victoria Cross in India. And it was in the Indian Mutiny, if you're on that side of the fence, or what became known as the First War of Indian Independence on the other side of the fence. He won a Victoria Cross, the highest medal of gallantry, I won't go into the whole story now, but I go into it in a lot of detail about how he won this extraordinary act of courage. And he died aged 72 when he slipped and fell down the last step of his house in Bath and died. And why I tell that story is because there's a big distinction between bravery and courage. You know, we are all courageous, and we will all be brave, but let me draw this distinction for you. Bravery is what we do with external circumstances. It's that thing that drives a mother to lift her car to save her child. It comes from somewhere outside of ourselves. Courage is quiet and internal. It's the things that we do when no one needs to know and no one knew about it anyway, but we still do it, even though it scares the out of us. The second story I want to share with you is there's a book called Black Swan, which you might remember. Fantastic book about how extraordinary and unpredictable things happen. And I haven't read the book. I read a short bit, but this is the bit that I got. I read the first chapter of the book. And it was basically this guy who goes, a salesman who finds himself in Anchorage on a snowy night and his plane gets delayed. And he goes to the bar and he strikes up a conversation with a guy, and 6 months later, this same salesman closes the deal with the guy. Now, this deal constituted 90% of the company's profits. They put together a beautiful strategic plan, and where was this in the plan? Absolutely nowhere. So it's the power of connection. He had the courage to just go and meet that person, and the rest, as they say, is history. And the last little story I'll share with you is that my introduction to USB, how did that start? Someone called Lewis Pugh, who many of you know, an absolutely wonderful and very generous and big-hearted human being, responded to, I followed him on Twitter, and he responded, and we started a conversation, and here I am now in front of you guys, 300 amazing people. How did that happen? Just the power of connection. So, ladies and gentlemen, please Do one thing today, get out, connect, challenge yourself. I work with people who want to go the extra mile and tap into their potential. Remember that in sales, they have a saying, don't sell the steak, sell the sizzle. Courage is the steak. What you get from the steak is the sizzle, which is the dynamic and extraordinary results you get in the areas of life that are important to you, in the sales, communication, leadership, and the like. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you.